Welcome, Lily ladies and potential Lily ladies. I know some of you have been in the group for a while, some of you are new, and some of you may even be watching by recording. And the Lily ladies, for those of you who might not know, is our exclusive women's coaching group. And I am the one that leads it. And I am just super excited. This is actually the year anniversary. So for those of you who have been around, it's going to be a little nostalgic, which will be really fun. All right. All right. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And to those of you who are new, there are specific things that I have envisioned for the Lily ladies to experience here when they go through, when they become members. But there's going to be a variety of situations. And let me pull this up. And I love that there's a variety of situations, and it's really, really cool how it helps everyone to grow in different ways, but in the same way as well. So our Lily ladies are for women who are invested in nurturing their souls and intentionally growing to their full potential. So that's the overall view of it. But again, there's going to be a variety of circumstances, but that's kind of what we're all aiming for. Nurturing for our souls and intentionally growing to our full potential, which I think we could all use more of as women, because we're busy nurturing our families, nurturing our friends and family and neighbors and communities. And sometimes we need a little nurturing for our own selves. Let's talk a little bit about vulnerability. By raise of hands, how many of you think vulnerability is a dirty word and you don't like it? Sometimes me. Yeah, okay. So some people understand what I'm talking about there. So one thing that we like to do is in our Love and Leaders organization is learn to see vulnerability as a strength. And have you all heard of Brene Brown before? She wrote The Gifts of Imperfection. She's a shame researcher. And this is her quote: "Vulnerability is not weakness, and that myth is profoundly dangerous. Vulnerability is the birthplace of connection and the path to the feeling of worthiness. If it doesn't feel vulnerable, the sharing is probably not constructive." So what that means is, when we do these groups, if we don't feel a little vulnerable, then it's probably not going to help us. So the fact that you might feel a little nervous about talking on camera, like talking while a recording is happening, maybe potentially being seen by other people for, and when you're diving into some of your own personal stuff, that's all going to be for our growth and for our good. And of course, we never share like anything personal shared in the Lily ladies. It stays with us. What we do though is we record them so that if there's any Lily ladies that aren't able to attend, they are able to view it later, because it is very powerful to watch coaching happening, even for other people. And so it's still very beneficial if, 1 month you're not able to make it. So the Lily ladies provide a safe and nurturing space to be vulnerable, connected, and constructive. Now, one of the things I love about the Lily ladies is that everybody who comes in, and of course we're all on different levels, but everyone's intentionally growing. And so you're with women who want to be constructive. Have you ever been in a setting where you're with a bunch of women and so you feel comfortable because it's your gender and, you know, you're not trying to impress anyone, any guys or anything, but you just kind of feel like anything you say, they'll agree with. And if you say things that are, let's say, maybe you're not feeling very good about like something you're experiencing in life, and then they're validating all of that for you in a way that isn't really helping. Have you guys experienced that? Yeah. And then you've probably also been in situations where someone challenges you so much that, you know, it's like, whoa, way too much. And I'm sure that sometimes that's happened here. But what I try to provide in the Lily Ladies is a good balance of what is helpful and what is constructive and what everyone can handle. Does that make sense? Okay, cool. All right, moving on. Leah mentioned she loved the lilies, and those lilies are actually from my mother-in-law's funeral. We got to take a bouquet home, and so I actually took it straight from the funeral over to my mom's house. It was like during the holidays, and I gifted it to my mom, and I just took a picture, and it was very pretty. White lilies they're beautiful. All right, I'm going to share again. And there we go. Wait, no, that's not it. Wait, oh, that is it. Okay, so let me tell you what the new features are. Now we're going to have 4-month terms instead of just going from month to month and letting people try it for, you know, super cheap. Because I don't think that it's very effective to have someone jump in for a month and then not really be able to ever follow it up. There's a lot deeper work we can do when we commit to 4-month terms. And so that's how we're going to do it, starting with this summer, which will go from May to August. And then the other thing that's new will be the membership login. So this is what I'm really excited about. So what we're going to be doing is using the course. So we built out a course this last few months, and we have the same technology available for memberships. And so instead of emailing you recordings, I'm going to upload it to the course, and then you're just going to have one login. So you're going to be able to log in and always have access to the recordings from previous months. If you're like, oh, I remember that month, I want to remember like what that focus of the month was. Like, I want to remember like what we were doing, or maybe like you remember there being a helpful coaching session for yourself. You can also go and access that. And my idea right now is to probably separate the recordings so that they're a little less cumbersome and a little bit easier to know what they are. Meaning, and I don't mean like each individual, but I think I'll just separate out the focus for the month from the coaching portion, so that you can easily just decide what you're wanting to access. And then, you know how in the chat group, which we will continue having, but we have a private Facebook chat group that kind of allows you to get coached during the month by message, sort of, and kind of support each other and your goals and your as you're moving along in life. You know how sometimes I'll send you a whole bunch of material because like I'm thinking about you and I think, oh, this will help Trisha, or this will help Christy, or this will help Leah, you know, like I just send you a ton of stuff. Well, I'm going to have like a bonus content for each month so that it's just all in one place. So you don't have to scroll through like all those messages trying to find it again. Cool, right? I'm super excited about this. So, and it's not going to change the monthly price. It's just going to change how we're collecting it. So instead of being $50 a month, it's going to be $200 for the 4-month group coaching package. And we still have Venmo, and I know a lot of you are paying that way. And then there's also an option to pay by credit card. And I understand, please don't write down this link. Don't worry about it. I will provide it for you, because it's just way too long. And I'm sorry, I haven't figured out a more convenient way of giving you a link. It's just kind of automated. So, but if you want to pay by credit card, if that's your preference, then, that is an option, and I can provide that for you. All right. Any questions about how we're moving forward in terms of how to enroll and kind of how we're doing things a little bit different? Okay. The way in which we're doing things the same, I did not know I had done that. Hang on. Oh, Leah, you raised your hand. You still there? Okay, yes.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I have a question. So on the website, right, where we could access all the recordings, instead of putting the date of the recording, like for the group, could you how each of the group you have kind of like a little lesson, a theme or something? Mm-hmm. Could you use that as the name of that recording? So that way, if we want to, listen to a specific topic, is easier, and we just, thank you.
Yes, and what it has is it has a title and it has a description, and it even has a place for me to put a picture if I want to. So it will be a lot easier to figure out, okay, what is it that I want to go to and benefit by today? So yes.
Thank you. I love that.
Yeah, that's why I'm excited, because it's a technology we haven't been taking advantage of yet. It's something fairly new to Love in Later Years, and something that I want to start taking advantage of in this group. All right. Any other questions before we move on? Okay. Well, and you might have questions at the end, but hopefully I'll just cover everything. All right. Share again. I feel like, oh, there we go. Oh, I didn't know this was a thing. Okay, sorry. My mouse was doing it for me, and I didn't realize that's what was happening. So I wanted to just give you a fun little history of the focuses of the month for Love in Later Years. And as I mentioned towards the beginning of this, this free orientation, that we've been doing this for a year now. And we've got a really great list of focuses that we've done for the last year. We started with sharing our personal development favorites, and also talking about self-revelation. And I believe that someone put together a really nice list and this meeting was pretty big, because at first we just kind of invited everybody to see who was interested. And that's another thing I can put in the vault of like membership stuff, is that because we developed a pretty good list, and you might see things on that list that interest you, and you might, pick up on some of it. So that's one thing I could throw in. Another is in June of last year, we did a change of mind and a heart at peace. I remember just really feeling good about that and enjoying that one. I believe we worked quite a bit on the FCBO thought model in the change of our minds. And then also, the heart at peace can come about from changing our minds, but it's also like a next step, another kind of growth. We focused on giving from the overflow. So you know how we sometimes say you can't give from an empty bucket. And so what we do as women, sometimes we just give and give and give until our bucket's empty. And then we're like, oh, I guess I got to do some self-care. And so giving from the overflow is like putting, and I don't think I had this visual when we did it, but I've since heard like putting a bucket at the top of like a whole bunch of cups, and then just keep pouring water in the bucket, and then it just overflows into all those cups. So like all the people we serve, we can live and give in abundance when we just keep filling our cup and then letting it overflow. Does that make sense? Isn't that cool? Like we worked all month on that topic back in July of 22. We talked about mindful and compassionate self-evaluation in August, because I know that with a change of mind and working on our thoughts, sometimes when we become mindful, we forget to be compassionate. We start judging our judgments even. And so it's good to remind ourselves that compassionate self-evaluation, it has to be part of that mindfulness process. Reducing the shoulds and buts in life. Do you guys remember that one? That one was fun. We say should and but a lot in our lives, and getting rid of those makes life better. Changing it over to wants and desires, and to ands even. So changing buts to ands and shoulds to desire. Practicing self-appreciation. We did that in October in preparation for November. And the really cool thing is that when we showed ourselves thanks, like when we like talked back to ourselves and said, you know what, you just did something awesome today, or you didn't do anything today, but you just the presence of you in that space was, you know, good for XYZ or whatever. Just like recognizing all the big and little things we are and do helped. I know it helped me be more appreciative to others in November, like the month of Thanksgiving, which is kind of cool because it kind of shifted the I should be grateful to I'm just grateful, and I'm giving from the overflow because I just showed myself all this appreciation, and now I can show others appreciation so easy. Then in November, we talked about minimum standards and baselines, because I wanted to kind of hit the new year running and already having worked on our goal setting. And minimum standards, the beauty of that is that we can choose to do what we believe is possible consistently, because consistency is the key to success, not big spurts of excitement and then forgetting about our goals like 2 months later. So setting minimum baselines for whatever it is that we want to basically maintain our whole lives is a really good idea. And I know for me, I've been going to the gym twice a week, every week for all of 2023. And that started back in November of 22. So it's really cool, like how I can see these things even positively impacting my life as I integrate them. And hopefully you've experienced the same if you've been around for a while. In December of 22, we talked about the gift of new and empowering thoughts. Have you ever been in a room where everyone's like kind of complaining or, you know, being down about a certain thing, and everybody's agreeing because, you know, everybody likes to be agreeable. And then all of a sudden someone says, well, actually, I see it this way. And they offer this new and empowering thought. Have you guys ever experienced that? Have you ever been that person? Well, I anticipate most Lily ladies will become that person that offers the new and empowering thought, because it just comes so naturally because you've been practicing. In January, we talked about healthy processing of emotion, feeling our feelings. That's the hardest one for me. I'm still working on it. In February, we talked about reframing triggers and turning curses into blessings. in March of 23, we talked about applying some basic hypnotherapy tools because I took a hypnotherapy class and I wanted to share some of the things I learned to give our words of the year more power. And we talked about our words of the year and even reframing some things and triggers that might keep us from having those words of the year bring power in our lives. And then in April, sorry, oh gosh. That is really sensitive. I'm sorry. I did not mean to flip that. And then just this last month, we talked about discerning between the Holy Ghost, the light of Christ, intuition, gut instinct, and personal thoughts and judgments. Have you guys ever wondered how to tell the difference? Well, we talked all about that. Anyway, so moving forward, no, forward. Not back. Okay, forward. We are going to, instead of meeting every 4 weeks, which is what I tried for the last 4 months, we're just going to go back to just doing it once a month. And it's always going to be the second Thursday. So it's just something you can just plan around. Zoom sessions will still start at 6:30 Mountain Time. And there will be approximately 30-minute focus of the month, 30 minutes on the focus of the month. And some of that will be me teaching about the subject, and some of it might be a little bit of discussion. And then we'll end that recording and we'll move into the group coaching, which will be anywhere from 60 to 90 minutes, depending on our crowd, depending on how many there are there. I'd like to try and touch base with everybody, but if it ends up being way, way too long, then maybe I'll take volunteers sometimes, like, so that, you know, if you have something really pressing on your mind, you can go first and then we'll just do what we have time for. I'm always willing to stay later. I respect and value your time though. And I don't want to go so late that it's overwhelming to you ever. So, and I know sometimes what we've done is we've just let people who need to go first and then they leave and we just keep going. But I don't know, lately it seems like it's been pretty on track to end around, I don't know, 8:30 or 9, maybe 9:30 at the latest, but just know that I'm like, I love you guys and I'm willing to do what you need. And I want to be there for you. So, but we'll also try to be efficient with our time. So, because I know that is in limited supply as in all of our lives. I should say, no, I like to think of time as abundant. Sorry. I'm still, I guess, in the process of learning how to think of time as abundant rather than limited supply. But I guess what I mean is I understand that our time is valuable. That's what I'm saying. So you can write down these dates if you'd like. It will also be in the course. And I already created a Zoom link that will be the same for all 4 dates. And then basically then we'll move into the next term, and that will be kind of the next module for Lily Ladies as we progress. So I'm just super excited. So that's moving forward. No, moving forward. It feels backwards to me. Okay, so for those who don't know, I just wanted to make sure you're aware that we now have a 12-week course called Life Design After Divorce. And it takes you through six steps, but very, very detailed, in-depth steps to recover from divorce and design a life you love without spending thousands on therapy. It's a really good price for what is offered. There's 6 modules, but there's at least 12 weeks worth of material, and you can go faster or slower since it is online. And basically every week, now those have gone long. I'll admit, those have gone way long, and Christy's smiling because she knows. And I apologize for that. You know, we knew there would be a lot of material to cover. We just didn't quite realize how much, and we wanted to do a thorough job. I think it'll be easier for people who go through it after the live because you can go at your own pace. You know, you don't have to watch all of it all at once. In fact, I think it saves your place. Is that true, Christy, in your experience? Okay. So yeah, it just saves your place. And then we also have tons and tons of bonus material. And you could probably spend an entire year on this course if you wanted to. It's a lot of really good stuff. But I think that if you apply yourself for 12 weeks, you can get through it and you can be in a much better place than you started. So that is an option to add to the Lily Ladies, so that you have the live coaching with me, and then you have that life design after divorce support if you are in that position and need it. All right. Okay, so that actually does lead me to our last slide. Before I move on from this, though, I actually have an exciting announcement to make. So we haven't announced this widely, but for anyone interested in the Lily Ladies, you get this information a little early. We are going to be doing a Courting with Confidence course this fall. And this course, for the Life Design After Divorce, for those it applies to, is a highly recommended precursor to that Courting with Confidence course, because as we all know, we cannot move into a new healthy relationship if we haven't done at least some intentional healing. And we don't mean you need to be like perfectly healed and whole, like, and on your way to perfection. We just know that there's a lot to overcome and recover from with divorce. And so we're assuming that you've done this work when we move into the Courting with Confidence, because we're just going straight for the, okay, how do we navigate the dating world? How do we get really intentional about the attributes and the characteristics we're looking for in a partner? And how do we make that matter? So anyway, so be thinking about that. So if you are interested in Courting with Confidence and you feel like you need to have a little more preparation, this is for basically those who hopefully are aware they aren't ready to date. This will get you ready. And then we'll move into the dating part, which is fun for everyone. And I know that that's what most people are the most interested in. So I'm recommending everybody take this summer, then you'll be ready for Courting with Confidence in the fall. All right, and then last but not least, this is the underlying cause of the Lily Ladies and all of our monthly focuses. And moving forward, whoever chooses in, whoever opts in and commits to the 4 months helps me choose the future topics. So that's another thing is if you're in, you're going to have a say in what the Lily Ladies does for you. But I also get lots of inspiration for you guys. So if like no one has any ideas, I will have them for you. So I will deliver great content either way, but you also can give me input. I am so totally open to that. So in the world of economics, we learn that something is only worth what people are willing to pay for it. We are worth what our Savior Jesus Christ was willing to pay for us. Life tends to get messy, and sometimes we forget how valuable we are to God. And we lose some of our divine power in that forgetting. This group, the Lily Ladies, helps us remember our divine worth and create our lives on purpose with renewed power and strength in Christ. And that is the overall goal. Like I said, we're all in different situations. We all have a variety of backgrounds and things that we're working on, but ultimately, you remembering your worth, your value, and really feeling that in your life, and then being able to tap into the divine power that we have through the atonement is really the underlying goal. So I will stop share and open up this meeting for a Q&A. I actually got through that pretty fast. So we've got some time for questions, comments. I would also love to hear from those of you who've been around and you could share what you have gained from your experience so far.
I love the spirituality, in the group, and eh, not just the spirituality, but the strength of each individual from their experience that they have shared. I'm just listening to them. I don't know. For me, it's just a nice addition, to my day-to-day life. Um, for the is it purposeful dating? I think I would love to, like, maybe have at least one session with, a mixed group of genders to hear the other side of it. So, because sometimes I think, we go through life and we are narrowed down to what we are experiencing, our emotions and stuff in the moment.
Mhm.
And, maybe it'd be nice to just take a pause and just, okay, to hit the other side, maybe there's some of the stuff that we are missing.
Yeah.
And same thing for the man. Maybe they're missing some stuff. So, like, for example, I just went took a 2-day course on, like, mental health, during for parents. And in a certain portion they were talking about what having like a video of what the dads when they see their partners, not being the usual self. So, and it was just like, I don't know. For me, it was just very eye-opening to hear their side of it, their stress, and some of them were traumatic birth experience, and just to hear how worried they were, not just losing baby, but losing mom as well.
Mhm.
And so I think it would be awesome to hear, you know, the men of the group, to hear what they have experienced, when they are, at the end of a relationship, and what they, hope to gain in the goal of an eternal partnership. So that's
I,
just my
I
two
love
thoughts.
your input here. And you'll be happy to know that Jeff and I talked about the possibility that this fall we might do a combined Lily Ladies and Knights of the Lily meeting. Like just one. Like you said, it doesn't have to be all the time, but one. And the other thing is with the Life Design After Divorce course, one of the 6 steps is honoring the divine masculine and feminine. And we had a whole class about the importance of getting to at least a neutral, if not a positive place with the opposite sex when we're tempted to hate them all after, like, we have a negative experience in a previous marriage. So yeah, that's a big deal. And I found it very helpful that it's a co-ed class and we had men and women and we had both perspectives. So I did find that to be very useful, especially when it was on the topic specifically of what do women deal with when it comes to divorce? What do men deal with when it comes to divorce? And we talked a lot about that. So very good. And then the Courting with Confidence course in the fall will be co-ed. So we'll have men and women there, and you guys will get to banter about, okay, how does this work for men? And how does this work for women? And what are your concerns and all that kind of stuff. So very good. Christy, would you mind sharing like what because you've been in here for a while and I just love having you here. I'm putting you on the spot.
No, that's fine. I just like being able to have that support of other women that I don't necessarily always get someplace else, because I learn from all of them too, and I don't feel quite so, odd, I guess.
Well, yeah, are you finding that like we have this thing in common called life?
Yeah.
Like we're all
Yeah.
living our lives and have challenges and
Yeah. And that, other people have the same kind of challenges that I have. And so I get to learn from them too. So, yeah.
awesome. That's great. Let's see. And I was hoping that we might have more of the ladies who'd been around for a while, but I really appreciate you guys sharing. Christy, maybe you could also mention your experience with the Life Design After Divorce course, since you have taken that, or you almost have taken all of the modules. I guess we have one more. Yeah, what?
I need to finish my homework.
I know it's a lot, right?
Yeah. Well, and I've been really busy. It's prom season.
Yeah. Do you ever just like put it on and listen while you're altering dresses?
I do. Yep, I do.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. So you can fit it in sometimes just to your life.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just can't sit and do the writing, so I have to have quiet to do that. But no,
Yeah.
I've loved it.
You've loved it?
I've learned that there's really still things that I need to work on that I didn't really realize that I did. So it's been good.
Oh, good. Good. Do you feel like we've hit on everything that like has concerned you about divorce so far? At least?
Probably. Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Yep.
And when she mentioned the writing assignments, there's not a lot of them, but basically we have a writing assignment for each module. So, and then we have like assignments where like you're definitely encouraged to watch and listen to certain podcasts and videos. And then we have a whole bunch of bonus content that is kind of optional. Would you say that you've taken interest in the optional stuff, or you're like, I've already seen that or heard?
Yeah. Well, sometimes I don't, because it's been so recently since I listened to them, but sometimes I'll go back and I'll hear completely different things when I listen to it again and when I listened to it the first time. So.
Do you think it's because you're in a different place of life?
Probably.
Okay.
Probably. Yeah.
And maybe because
and I've taken
oh, go ahead.
I've taken
Sorry, there's a lag.
Yeah, there is. the mind body one that we did, all of that. Mm-hmm. And I screenshotted those, so I have them on my phone, and I'm sitting down and intentionally writing all answers to all of those questions. So that's why it's taking me so long.
Oh my goodness, that's awesome. I know we had some slides that had lots of like comments and questions about like the different. Well, good for you, because that's something we all have to do, is balance our mind, body, spirit, and emotional connections, like the health of all of those areas of our lives. Yeah. So
that way I can assess more where I need to put more work and where I don't. So as I sit down and answer all of those. So
all right. Awesome. Well, welcome, Nikki and Robin. Is Robin one of your friends too, Christy? Or is this no? Well, if you guys want to introduce yourself, I mean, you don't have to, but I would love to meet you guys if you want to say hello and tell me where you're from, how you got here.
Sorry. My name is Robin.
Hi, Robin.
And, hi, I'm David Howard's fiance.
Oh, okay, awesome. It's so nice to meet you. So yes, so David got you in tonight.
Yes, and I listened to your material and your recordings and podcasts with him, and I enjoy him a lot.
Awesome. Well,
so he thought I might enjoy this introduction tonight.
Awesome. Yeah. And you're welcome to, so I'll give you guys a link. So, because I think you might have come in a little bit later. So anything you missed, you can get by the recording.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm
no,
not very tech savvy, and I couldn't figure it out.
Well, I'm glad you're here. And I know there's several people who couldn't make it. So that recording is just for anybody who needs to catch it later.
Okay.
And I was having actually a little bit of tech trouble towards the beginning. So hopefully everyone will be patient with me. I went pretty smooth towards the end once I figured out that my mouse was like very sensitive and to go forward and back. But anyway, we're glad you're here. And I hope that you'll join. That will be really fun to have you.
Thank you so much.
All right. Nikki, you're on mute. I want to hear what you're saying.
There we go. Yeah, so Christy and I have been friends for a long time. we were in another ward, and then I moved. So I just got divorced after 15 years of marriage. And so just the divorce was final in February.
So it's
And
fairly recent.
yeah, just last week I signed papers on my house. So I get to stay. I know where I'm going to be living, and I paid
Is it
him.
your house now?
It is my house.
Woo! I remember that day because
Yeah.
I did a divorce after 14 years of marriage and bought the house, and
Yes.
that's a good feeling.
I've had like, what's come to me is like each step of this, like, you know, filing, and then like he would not move out. So that took about 8 months, but I just like everything has just felt like this great big rock, and it's so heavy. But then like when I get to set it down, I'm like, oh, I'm just so grateful. And I get to breathe for a little bit. So that last Friday was like, oh, I just got to put that rock down and be like, okay, I got a house. Like I know I'm gonna live, everything's good. And so, and I don't know, and it was kind of funny, like, because I just had that rock analogy, but just over the weekend, like I just had this picture because I felt like I had a really good life and a good foundation. And it was like the marriage became this natural disaster that just destroyed everything. And then I was like, oh my gosh, but I have already been putting all these rocks, like God has had me putting these rocks back in place. Like I've already started the new foundation. And so I was really grateful for that.
Oh, wow. Well, and some of those rocks you can actually just throw out, like just
Exactly. Don't
put
need them
them
back.
down. That's one thing that Jeff says a lot, because it took a lot of putting the rock of like hate and the rock of frustration towards a former partner back down many times over. In fact, in the course we talked about forgiving 70 times, what is it, 70 times 7?
Yes.
Something like that. I feel like I reached the point that I had done that already. And I was ready to be done. I don't know why he gave an exact number. I think it probably should have just been infinity or something, because like, I swear we can get there.
Yeah, well, it's funny because I talked to my therapist about that this week, and I was just like, I just hate, like, that word comes to my mind, like, oh, I just hate, you know, and I was like, I don't want to be that person. But she was just like, but you have got to walk through that to get to the other side. She's like, but if you'll just settle in, and it's not going to take you that long to get through it if you'll just let yourself experience it. And I was like, oh,
yeah,
okay.
We do have to feel our feelings for sure.
Yeah.
It's so funny because like we do thought work to try and influence our feelings with our mind, but then we also need to acknowledge when we're feeling stuff and let it flow.
Yeah.
And I know for me, I tried to be really nice. I tried to be the nice divorcee, right? And he did not. He was not like at all. And then eventually I thought, okay, I think I need to hate him for a minute. Like I just really need to hate him for a minute. And then I think I calmed down to a place that was a lot more neutral. And I think there's a little bit of a gift in apathy. I know that sounds weird, and it's not true for most things in life, but when it comes to a former partner, you know, if we don't want to hate them and we don't really want to be super nice and love them, like sometimes we just have to get to a point that we don't care so much. Like my heart is in a place where like, if good things happen to him, I'm happy for him. I don't feel bad about that. Like it doesn't hurt me. Like I think it's good to at least be there with our hearts, because I think that's a sign of forgiveness. But the kind of like, but I also just don't care that much is kind of healthy.
Yeah, and I don't want to be triggered. Like whatever he says or does, like I just don't want to have like an emotional control over me. And it is funny, like we work in the same school district, which so you wouldn't think much would, and it hasn't been a ton, but there are times when like I don't know, like he has brought up things about me in like district meetings, and it's just funny because I'm like, I know so many people. Like it's funny that he doesn't realize it gets back to me, but I really don't care. And like it's been fun. Like I can just laugh with people. Like we think it's hilarious.
When you can find humor in stuff you like could be crying about, that's a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, it sounds like you're already doing some good work. And I'm sure you have moments that also just really hurt sometimes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's hard too. Yeah, sometimes it's just I've decided I'm doing better now, but like for a while I was like, I just need to like cry every Saturday night because I think what it is when I go to church and people offer to help me. Like, I don't know why that just sets me off. I've got to I got to figure that out, like why that is so triggering for me, because people are so kind and loving and it shouldn't make me cry.
Do you like to be independent and take care of yourself?
Oh,
Is that why?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Maybe we could revisit the reframing triggers into blessings.
Yeah. Well, and I have just felt very strongly that that's part of this journey for me, is that God is going to make me learn how to ask for help and take it and be okay with it. And so, and I love this home and I am so beyond grateful, and miracles made it possible for me to stay in this home. But like I've got an orchard with like 12 trees, and like I can't do everything that needs to be done. But like I was grateful, like I was able to talk to people in the ward, and there's some families that want to help. And so they're going to prune and they're going to spray, like they're going to take care. And so I'm like, okay, well, this really is the life I wanted. This is part of what I missed, because I was always like that. I always was part of the word and part of people's lives. And then he wasn't comfortable with that. And so I have felt so isolated for 15 years. And I'm like, but it is funny because it's hard too. But I'm just like, nope, this is getting back to being who I was meant to be.
Yeah. And it's going to be a big discovery, a journey.
Mm-hmm.
But you know where you're going to be doing it, at least for now.
Yes. Well, and my son said the prayer, and at night, the night after, I told him that I'd gotten the house, and
Like a dedication prayer?
I asked him to say the prayer that night, and the first out of his mouth was like, Heavenly Father, thank you so much that we get to stay in this house. And I was like, okay, it was worth it. Everything was worth it to know that it meant that much to him.
Oh,
he would
and there's so much change for you and for them that's something that you don't have to make new decisions on.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a blessing. I remember thinking that. I was like, I am not emotionally in a place to be like trying to make house decisions right now. And eventually I did sell that home and I bought this one. But it gave me time to get to where I could do that with a lot lighter load in my heart.
Yeah. And my youngest is a 7th grader. So in 6 years, we can see where we are and then know from there. But yeah, and it was funny too, but the market is just so crazy that I was really grateful to not have to deal with so many aspects of the market.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. So, well, it's so nice to meet you. Thank you for telling us about you. And Christy, thank you for inviting your friend Nikki. And Robin, I'm glad that David invited you. I'm glad you made it. And yeah, thanks everyone for sharing. Appreciate you being here. I always feel good energy here. I don't know, there's something about it. Like the women that show up to these things are amazing. And for whoever joins, you'll love the group. Whoever chooses in, it's going to be great. I'm sure of it. So, all right. Well,
thank you so much.
I think I'll go ahead and end the recording, and then I'll say goodbye to y'all. I can remember where oh, there we go. All right. Thanks for being here.